We begin with a live look right now at the White House because any moment now, President Trump will greet Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. He'll be the first Southeast Asian leader to have an Oval Office sit down with President Trump since the start of his second term. Our monitors will bring that to you right here on CBS News 24/7 when we see it. Now, this meeting comes at a key time for both nations as both leaders race the clock to secure a beneficial trade deal. Now, the topic on the table for today's face-off, as you can imagine, tariffs. The window to strike a deal is closing after President Trump sent this letter to the nation earlier this month. He urged the Philippines to come to the negotiating table by August 1st or be charged a tariff of up to 20% on any and all Philippine products sent into the United States. Now, that number is up from the 17% that was threatened back in April. President Marcos met with the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth just yesterday, where he sounded off on the importance of the relationship with the United States.
You cannot limit Philippine-American relationship to one dimension because of the length of time that we have been partners. The evolution of that partnership has really encompassed all kinds of other areas, starting from the people to the G to G to all. I cannot think actually of an area of cooperation where the United States and the Philippines are not involved.
All right, let's go live now to the White House and CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cordes. Nancy, thank you for your time today. Any chance that we'll actually see a solid deal today after this meeting happens?
I think that that's unlikely, Mugo, because there's always so much fine print with these deals. Might see an agreement in principle as you watch the honor guard that's going to be here to greet the Philippines president when he arrives. In fact, if you just take a look over my shoulder, you'll see both the honor guard waiting for his motorcade to arrive, but also on the south portico of the White House, the entrance there, White House staffers prepared for his arrival. And this is an important meeting because the Philippines is one of the oldest U.S. allies in that region. It's a crucial military ally, as well as the U.S. Monitors events in the South China Sea. And the U.S. has a trade deficit with the Philippines, not as large as some other Asian countries. And so the president of the Philippines is coming here very much hoping that there's a way for him to head off these 20% tariffs that President Trump is warning will snap into place in August if a deal isn't completed before then.
Yeah, Nancy, there have been some new developments because we're switching gears here to talk about the Epstein saga. And this happened overnight as it relates to the Trump administration and that striking Wall Street Journal report. What can you tell us?
Yes, well, the president, of course, has filed suit against the Wall Street Journal and its owner, Rupert Murdoch. And now the White House is escalating this fight, basically kicking the Wall Street Journal out of the White House press pool that travels in the bubble with the president when he goes overseas. The Wall Street Journal is in a rotation with other newspapers. It just so happens that it was the Wall Street Journal's turn to be on Air Force One when the president goes to Scotland in a few days to inspect a couple of his golf courses there. But the White House is now saying, no, we don't want the Wall Street Journal on board, calling the story that the Journal did defamatory. And so this is the second major instance of this administration basically punishing a major news outlet for reporting that the White House doesn't like. And what we don't know yet, Mugo, is whether this is some kind of permanent exile for the Wall Street Journal when it comes to the press pool, or whether this is temporary and it will be allowed back in the future. But the White House Correspondents Association has responded, calling this basically an impingement on free speech and pointing out that it is a break with decades of precedents where news organizations were in this permanent rotation here at the White House, no matter what they published, because, you know, to do otherwise would be an impingement on the First Amendment.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Nancy, someone else who also wants those Epstein files released is the daughter of Martin Luther King Jr., Bernice King. So here's what she tweeted yesterday after the government released more than 200,000 pages of records related to the assassination of her father. That's that tweet right there. Did those files tell us anything new?
Not really. I mean, there were hundreds of thousands of pages. Many of them were illegible, frankly, because these were pages that were just digitized, that were really old, just very, very hard to read. And scholars who looked through them, their early read is that there isn't a lot new in these files, and that what they're really waiting for are some of the FBI files that are still under seal until 2027 that kind of detail some of the surveillance that the FBI did on Martin Luther King Jr. As they were looking for ways to discredit him in the 1960s. And so the family was very concerned that some of this material being released all these decades later might be taken out of context and tarnish their father's legacy. And so they expressed caution that people should view all of these documents within the broader context of the fact that that the FBI was doing all this digging into his personal life back in the 1960s. But at the end of the day, there wasn't a lot of new information in there.
All right. CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Nancy Cordes, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome.